My name is William Massey, and my wife, Chef Renee Massey. We are Touch of Life, Health Ministries, Touch of Life Foods. And what I do is I've got probably 20 plus years healthcare, but I've served in different facets, from being a technician to doing some counseling, doing surgery as a surgical technologist and a first assist. So I've worked a little bit in healthcare, back and forth. So I had a chance to see some things that were kind of, I'll put it this way, preventable. Saw some things that did not have to come through the doors of the ER. For instance, there was one young man who thought that he can get his iron by eating knife blades. He would take the knife and he would bite the tip off of it and swallow it. And if that wasn't enough, he would actually eat glass, chew it up, swallow it. What's going to happen to the digestion, to the digestive system, when you eat glass? What happens? Are you going to live long? Yeah, not too long. The body's not made like that. So I've seen a lot of things. I mean, that was probably extreme, but there could have been some things that were preventable. We talked about high blood pressure. But today, my topic I want to share with you is that clicker? Sit down. Prevention of heart disease. And I'm looking for my clicker. Here it is. Okay. And I'm going to move quickly. Don't want to take up a whole lot of time, but what is heart disease? What is that? It's on the screen right there. I'll give you a cheat sheet. What is that? Anyone? Actually, with this discussion, and I appreciate the quietness, but this is a dialogue. And if you ever hear me talk or whatever, I'm going to be asking a lot of questions. I'm going to quiz you on the spot. So thank you for coming out for this quiz tonight. So what is this? What is heart disease? What is the heart? Where is it? What is it? A muscle. If you take your fist and ball it up, take your fist, ball it up. Yeah, this is going to be more proportional to your size of your heart. Take your right fist. I want you to put that right there in the center of your chest. Mine's is going to be a little bit bigger. But if you can look at where your pinky, and then there's a corner right there at the pinky, at the corner of your fist, that's the apex of your heart. At the apex of your heart, you've got a lot of good old electrical stuff in there. You got a good old pump in there that's going to help keep your body, keep your heart moving, and the impulse at a perfect rate. Purkinje's. So I'm going to try to keep this as quick and as simple as possible. But if you can see the picture there, and if you notice how that the end of your hand points to which side of the chest? It's pointing more to the left, is that right? Yeah, inside's pointing more to the left. So this is how your heart actually sits in to your chest cavity. You notice that when you are pledging allegiance to the flag, that the apex of your hand is actually pointing to your what? Heart. So tonight, as I give you a little information, I'm not going to ask you to pledge, but in your mind say, he's a nice man. And he's not going to hurt me. And so the heart works the hardest. Your heart started beating the day it actually started when you're at perception. So there was an impulse when the egg and the sperm met, and then within that first week, there was an impulse. There was a pulse. There was life. So the heart has been working for a very long time. So I'll be 58, I'm 58 now. And my heart's been working for 58 years and some change. and some change. And this heart, this muscle, it's got to have help. Even though it's been working, it's been doing its part. But if I treat my body any kind of way, then the heart's going to get distressed. You know, we sit up late. We talked about this once at a discussion with a youth group, that they spend a lot of time. If you spend a lot of time watching or looking at your phone, the phone emits this blue light. Okay, that blue light is going to begin to interfere with the sleep pattern. Okay, so if it's interfering with my sleep pattern, in other words, the time that my body should be producing melatonin, which is something that's going to, the pineal gland, produces this good old enzyme. It's going to produce that hormone that I need so I can rest. So there's a connection between the melatonin and potassium. The potassium, the heart at rest. It keeps the heart from just keeping on going and going and going. So there has to be a time where the heart actually begins to rest. I think the beats per minute should be 50 beats per minute? And you're going to look at me like, you crazy. 50 beats per minute? Man, my heart's like running all the way through a marathon. It's going to keep 120 beats a minute. But 50 beats a minute is what you need, because the heart has to rest. So how are we going to get that proper rest? Which is another discussion. You're going to get the right amount of, not just sleep, but you're going to have to get a right amount of exercise. Exercise. How do I have a strong heart muscle? What can I do to have strong heart muscle? Do I go to the gym and work out all day? That's going to overtax it. You're going to keep working it. So you got to have a balance. What about walking? Walking is a good exercise. What about jumping on a rebounder? Anybody know what a rebounder is? Yeah. So if I'm jumping on a rebounder, as I jump down and go up and down, what it's doing is actually giving my heart a workout. And it's strengthening the heart. What else is it doing? It's causing me to produce. There's a you want to say hormone, but it's nitric oxide, which cleans up the arteries. You got to have nitric oxide, okay? But there is a amino acid. Well, it's trying to think of the name of the amino acid. It'll probably come back to me a little later. But it's a precursor to the nitric oxide. As I'm jumping on a rebounder, as I'm jumping and moving up and down, white blood cells are happy, red blood cells are happy, my heart's happy because it's getting a perfect workout. But if I don't get up and move around, if I don't exercise, then my heart's not going to get the exercise. Things are going to get sluggish because the heart pumps blood where? Major organs got to have the blood. So if I'm not doing my exercise, if I'm not walking, if I'm not getting enough sleep, my liver's going to suffer. My kidneys are going to suffer because I'm trying to just chill. So you're going to chill. I worked at the emergency room, and there were a lot of chilled people in the morgue because of whatever reason. But you don't want to leave this world. The Word of God, He says, why would you die? Choose life or death, Scripture that I was thinking about was a proverb where it says, out of the heart comes the what? The issues of life. And then also before that, it said that the heart, this thing, right, not so much of the physical heart. I think Solomon was talking about the actual, our relationship or a spiritual relationship, but you can apply that to a physical heart, to your physical heart. Let me move forward. Look at the bottom here. It says coronary arteries. These are the arteries that the heart's got to have so we can get its supply of blood. Okay? Look at the top real quick. Somebody tell me the heart pumps how many liters of blood every minute during its rest cycle? 4 to 5 what? Liters. What is arteriosclerosis? Atherosclerosis. What is that? Doesn't end with itis, but what is it? Look at that. Look at the actual diagram there. You've got a normal artery, and then on the other side you've got an artery that's been narrowed by this disease, this atherosclerosis. What do you see in the middle of that artery? Plaque. So over a time, deposits are called plaque. Now here's one study. I was trying to look it up, but there's one study. When you're eating, a lot of times we want to eat, and because of the American SAD, the SAD diet, which is full of sodium, which is high in cholesterol, the one that you don't want to bring in. But this is what happens. We want to eat, and then we rush and grab something to drink. You ever did that? So as we eat the food and we drink, it slows down the digestion. I'm going to connect this here real soon. Hold on. But it slows down the digestion. It takes 4 to 6 hours for one meal to exit the body. How long does it take? 4 to 6 hours. Between the 4 and the 6 hours, somebody may say, I'm going to snack. I may want to eat a little bit more because I didn't get enough last meal. You're going to drink water as you eat. The body slows down. It takes 15 minutes for a liquid or for a fluid to exit, to get to the kidneys and do its part. So there's 15 minutes that you have drank water, and now the digestion slows down, and it doesn't do math good. It starts all over again. The food starts from scratch, starts to break down the bolus, breaks down the food that's in the stomach from scratch. Now you've got 4 to 6 hours starting all over again. Wonder what that would smell like in real time. Just asking a question. If you didn't take the trash out 4 to 6 days, what's going to happen? How's your house going to smell? What is your house going to look like? It won't be pleasant. So if I'm eating that way, and I've been doing this for years, you know, the Word of God likens our bodies to a temple, a house. So if I'm not cleaning up this house, and if you walk into my home and it's all trash here, trash there, are you going to want to come back to my house again and visit? No, probably not. But in the human body, if there are things there, and I've ate food, and I've eaten 3 meals before my 4 to 6 hours are up, constipation takes place. The body's not going to be able to properly move the waste out of the system, because you've got your small intestine time where food's going to do some absorbing for the nutrients, but it can't really do that. Absorption is not going to take place if I'm eating and drinking. Oh, I'm a vegan. I've been a vegan. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. But I'm eating my food and I'm drinking so the nutrients are not getting into my bloodstream. I'm blocking it. I'm stopping the whole process. So the reason why you see a lot of guys and stuff, I'm going to say this about Titans. I'm in Alabama, but this is Tennessee Titan. 90% of the Titans are plant-based. But 90% of those Titans are only practicing the not eat and drink method or principle. Maybe 30%. I talked with a couple of guys that worked at the hospital at Vandy in Nashville, had a chance to talk to some of the players, and they were like, man, Paul McCartney came to he came to like the last game of the year, and he sat in our stadiums and he wanted plant-based hot dogs. And they didn't have any to offer him. So he got up, his band left, and wrote a letter back. Next season, Titans got a whole line of plant-based hot dogs and different meats. I don't know how many other professional teams do that, but I know Titans, they do it. So if you go to a Titan game and you're looking for plant-based, it's there. It's there. But my point, this waste that's being collected in the body, see, there's a point that's on each inside of the intestines, you have these little small increases or spaces that are called what do you call it, villi. And so with this, at the tip of it, just at the tip, there's the little openings. And these openings absorb nutrients. But if it's absorbing waste back through those portals or that little so-called villi, then those wastes are going to go back into other parts of the body. They're going to go into the other organs, so the itis sets in. What if that waste goes into the muscles? If it goes into my fingers, into my joints, into the osteos, then I get arthritis. So a lot of this plaque that you see that's there, you weren't born with it, but that plaque is actually waste buildup from fecal matter. Yeah. Different waste that's all inside your bloodstream. And so the body becomes filthy, and we wonder why, even though I've got this good diet, but I'm sick. Because what goes in, junk in, guess what? Junk out. That potato chip looked good today. Those ruffles, but you know what? I had to be at a rude awakening. I had a wake-up call because the blood pressure is nothing to play with. One of the most prominent symptoms of cardio or heart disease, the most prominent symptom is sudden death. So if sudden death is the number one symptom, and you might get a few earlier signs if it's knocking and saying, hey, your blood pressure's up and you're still eating things that you shouldn't be eating. Or, knock, knock again. You couldn't sleep last night. You could not get your rest. Your body keeps trying to tell you you're in distress, but you did not try to listen. So you're out talking with friends, and one day you're sweaty and your palms are getting kind of all wet and muggy, and you just pass out. That happened to a guy that was at the bank that I had just came out of, and I saw the ambulance come, and he walked up to the teller and said, I don't feel good. He said, I feel strange. Last word came out of his mouth, I think I'm dying. He hit the floor. Passed out. Ambulance gets there, and DOA, guess what? Heart attack, massive. Sudden death. Not a lot of time, just it happens, but we did it for, nothing happens osmosis. The Bible says the curse comes what? Causeless. So in other words, it didn't just happen. You helped it happen. You brought it on. Lord, give me healing. I'm praying. Give me the victory over this. But in the back of my mind, I'm still wanting to eat. I'm still wanting to drink things and put stuff in my body that are destroying my house. My house. Move forward. Some of the organs that are affected by this cardiovascular diseases, some of the things that could happen, ischemic stroke, not enough blood, no oxygen getting to the organ that really needs all the fat it can get, the brain. That's the friendly fat. Angina. What is angina? Anybody heard of angina? Those are mini heart attacks. You're having it. You're starting to get these uncomfortable feelings in your neck, in your shoulders, maybe a little dizziness. That's another. But you don't count it as a symptom. You just say, well, just something I ate maybe a little indigestion. But your body's telling you, hey, fix this. I need help. Let's move forward. What are some of the symptoms? We talked about it. No symptoms for a long period of time, right? None. But blood pressure up and down, up and down. What about this? Chest pain for a short period, known as angina, which are small heart attacks. Small heart attacks. Um, Myocardial infarctions, major heart attacks, which happened to the young man at the bank, severe chest pains, death of the heart muscle. What else? Heart failure, irregular heartbeats, and at the bottom, which should have been at the top, sudden death. Sudden death. Okay, this one talks about why me. It says genetic disposition. Some people say, well, it's in my family with having issues with heart disease, so I'm prone to have it. I'll get it too. Genetics, someone made a statement, words of wisdom, said that genetics could be the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. Lifestyle will determine if you're going to leave soon, exit the stage. So moving forward, what about this right here? Not that one. It says everybody needs cholesterol. What is cholesterol? Anyone? What is cholesterol? Come on, come on. I mean, I'm not talking to the choir. I heard some medical terminology, and what is cholesterol? What is that? Everybody needs it, right? Everybody. Serves a vital function of the body. It circulates where? In the blood. In the blood. Too much cholesterol can deposit in the arteries in the form of that stuff called plaque and block them. No symptoms till what? Heart attack. Heart attack. You see that heart? In that, he looks like he's in distress. Looks like he's what? Drowning. What's that stuff around him? Probably cholesterol. Let's move forward. Two sources. Two sources of cholesterol. Food. You got cholesterol that comes through animal product. Then you've got cholesterol that your actual body makes. You got the cholesterol that our body makes. Food sources, all containing animal fat, meat byproducts. 65%, you got what the liver makes this enzyme to create the cholesterol. Cholesterol produced by our bodies. This little diagram says liver and other cells distribute this throughout the body. Then you got the one over there with the nice juicy burger. You know, last week was burger. I think one of the days was Burger Day. You can get 5 burgers for $1 at McDonald's, Burger King. 5 for $1. Cheeseburger, I'm sorry. You could have made a hamburger or cheese. But I thought that was pretty cheap if you want to get a burger. But if you understood what was happening on the other end, you probably wouldn't want this burger. So I just passed it up. Cholesterol from both of these sources. Only one of those sources are considered good cholesterol, friendly to cholesterol, which is the LDL. And then you got an HDL, which majority of that stuff is going to come from outside source, food source, build up in the bloodstream. LDL is known as bad. HDL is known as good. But HDL is higher in women than it is in men. And it increases with exercise. HDL helps carry some of the bad cholesterol out of the arteries. Now, the reason why I said cholesterol is not bad is because it's going to do its job. It's the emergency EMTs of the body. If there's a tear, if there's a compromise in the arterial wall, cholesterol has got to get there. And once it gets there, it coats that area so there won't be any, so that you won't have like outside fluids or bleeding coming into the arterial wall. Okay, watch this. With this good cholesterol, people who are overweight, watch this. It says people who are overweight, 10 to 30% more than their normal body weight. The chef Smith, he said that when he was in the military, he was struggling with trying to downsize the body weight. I'm still trying to downsize myself. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be. So I'm moving forward. So y'all got to pray for me. But obesity, 2 to 6 times the risk of developing what? Heart disease. Normal weight, hip ratio. The reason why you got this picture of this guy right here is because of how he's made. He's made up. Let's call it apple shape. The apple shape is responsible, they say, for probably type 2 diabetes, heart disease. Watch this. Let's move forward. And the bottom says pears or apples. Most of America is apples. Shaped around, they store body fat around the abdomen and chest, surrounding internal organs. But the most dangerous fat would be the ones that's around the organs. Body inside and outside, you gotta breathe. So if you've got this extra adipose or fat that's squeezing up those arteries, squeezing up those organs. Oh, he thought about exercising. And so he was thinking about it, but he never got around to actually doing it. Had a couple of more things I want to share with you before I conclude, but I want to ask you a question about, here it is, medications. How many are taking the cholesterol medication? So I have friends and stuff and family members that are taking cholesterol medication. Once you start taking it, you are pretty much told that you're going to be on it for the rest of your life. For the rest of your life. But what is it doing? What is it going to do? For one thing, it's doing the opposite of what you would hope that it's going to do in terms of removing the cholesterol. Because what it's going to do is interfere with the actual hormone or enzymes, we'll use this term, that's going to be produced in the liver. Anybody heard of CoQ10? Yeah. It's produced in the liver, but it's also known as the heart the enzyme for the heart, to where you actually strengthen the walls, the muscles of the heart. And also it strengthens the valves. I'm trying to think of another term. Mitral valve prolapse. It prevents that because you have the little valves or the tricuspids in the heart. If I'm eating or if I'm smoking, one of the things that's causing the prolapse, and they did like a study, was vaping. You see kids and stuff and adults. One guy was driving. I don't actually see how he could drive. He did something. He puffed. The whole inside of his car was full of smoke. Then the person next to him started puffing. And you got smoke coming out of both windows. How do you drive? If the vaping don't kill you, then you're going to kill somebody or kill yourself running into something because you can't see and vape and drive. They should do a commercial. Don't vape and drive. I wish I had my video. A couple of young people in our church did it was like a commercial on vaping, and it was excellent. But anyway, it's moving into closing year. You've got cholesterol meds, you've got Lipitor, you've got your, there's another one. But what they're been given to do is to clean up the inside, the large amounts of plaque that's inside of the walls. You don't want to remove all of the cholesterol in the arterial walls. The other drug I was thinking about was called statin, the statin families. What do? They stimulate they did a test, and if you want any more of this information, I'm going to share it with those who want it. I'm going to send you an email with references as well. But the statin, they did a study, and they did it on like the mice, and it stimulated the cancer cells more, and those mice did not last a month on the statin. And then there was another one where they used it because they said it was causing these mice to bleed out. They were bleeding out. These mice were bleeding out of their eyes, bleeding out of their noses. Their feces was bloody. And so they literally died because they bled out. So if it's doing it in the animal kingdom with these mice, and similar studies were showing where individuals that were on the statin medication were having blood coming from under their fingernails. It was thinning their blood to the point where they were having like many hemorrhages every day. So I'm not telling you not to take it. I'm telling you to talk to your physician about any kind of side effects that you may be having from it. It's maybe too strong for you, but here's the thing. If it's not working, you need to find an alternative. And we talked about some of the alternative here earlier that's going to help with any type of cardiovascular issues. The hawthorn berry is a really good one because the hawthorn helps relax the heart muscle as well. And not only that, the hawthorn berry has been known to reverse, and this is the crazy thing, heart disease. Did I say it cured it? No, it reverses it. Because what you want to do is you want to put your body in a stasis to where you're bringing in natural products into your system on a daily basis, being consistent with it. So I think a lot of times we'll go to Walmart and grab something and say, well, I took some hawthorn berry, didn't do me any good. But being consistent with what you've got or what you have is the key. You got to keep this stuff in our bloodstream so we can do its perfect housekeeping in reversing these issues or health issues that we are going through. Last thing right here, we're going to use this and I'm going to close. Okay. Another thing I want to close out with was our lifestyle brings about a lot of unnecessary health challenges. We worry a lot about things, anxiety. We see things happening on a minute-by-minute basis. We watch TikTok videos which program the mind to always think in a microwave state. What do you mean? A microwave state, which means you're not going to have enough patience to wait on anything. You're going to always be anxious. You're going to always want it right now. If it doesn't happen right now, you will move to the next thing. So we're like those lab rats. We want to run from here to there and have no patience. Today's culture, the media, the whole process of what we're going through with our phones and any of these devices, the smart TVs. One thing I found out too was that even though you flip the TV off, the smart TV off, it still has a perimeter of blue that still radiates from the TV. So what is this blue light doing? The blue light, not only is it introducing extra radiation in your house, it's also interfering with I said it earlier, the sleep cycle. And if you understand why it's important to have the best rest, then you will see that you should limit the time that you spend on these devices. The blue light with men shrinks the testosterone level. Okay? They become more feminine. What about women? Well, the blue light studies show where it caused or created early menses with the women. So it has its effect. So if you can't balance it, if you're not balancing these things, if your right hand offends you, the Bible said, do what? Cut it off. And then we don't want to cut it off. We want to feel good. We want to be fed these things. And so, in conclusion, we want to make sure we look at this thing. There was a acronym. No, it's not actually an acronym. It's spelled backwards. The first thing our bodies do when it's under distress, the first thing our bodies do is we want to go and grab something sweet. You ever notice this? That when you're under depression, under stress, sweet things actually begin to magnify and look even better. I've seen people going through this process and they will eat a whole, not one, but 2 pints of ice cream back to back. And if you look at the word stressed, someone shared this with me. If you take stressed and spell it backwards, what did you get? What do you have? Desserts. So stressed, our lifestyle, the inactivity, the lack of being involved in taking care of this house is our destruction. And we don't want to be in a position where the next generation that comes along are even weaker than the generation that we have now. You're not going to be able to, if you notice the lifestyle, the diseases and stuff that are prominent among us now in America. Number 1 killer in America is heart disease. Number 2, I think it said number 2 was cancer. Who can guess number 3? It just came on the scene. Starts with a C. Starts with a C. He just came. He's new on the scene, but he made himself known. COVID. That's number 3. All 3 C's. Well, not 3 C's. You've got the heart disease, you've got cancer, and you've got COVID. So we're responsible. I mean, there's no reason. We've got enough information, there's enough knowledge, there's enough resources for us to not die from any of these diseases. You can do it. You can live a life to its fullest. So, given that amount of information today, I hope that each one of us will make decisions in our life to make a change. These changes can be made with help. So, we need a strong structure around us of individuals that are trying to do what you're doing, are trying to do better with their health. Get a prayer group, get a prayer team, and work together. Don't be isolated with the information that you've got, because somebody over here needs what you have. So it would be a sad thing that my neighbor died and I've got this information and I didn't share it, because I am my brother's what? I am my brother's keeper. So today, everything that you hear today, you're responsible for that knowledge. And there's an old proverb that says, to whom much is given, much is required. So thank you for your time. And next time I'm going to pass out sheets to get my answers from these quizzes. Thank you.